Hey sweet people, on today's video I'm showing you guys how I draft, cut and sew a shirt collar. The first thing I'm doing is to take my round neckline measurement, excluding the button overlap. So do not take the measurement of your button overlap. Ensure to as well know how many inches you have for your front neckline and how many inches your back neckline is. Indicate that this pattern will be cut on fold from the center back. So the half of my front is 5 and the half of my back is 3.5 inches. Like I said, this collar will be cut on fold, hence why I indicated where it would be folded, and the folded point will be the center back. This line right here would be my starting point. Firstly, we are cutting the collar stand, and I'll first mark half of my back neckline, which is 3.5, and also from that point I'll mark half of my front, which is 5 inches. The width of my collar stand will be 1 inch. That's like a universal measurement because it doesn't have to be too big, it just needs to sit properly on your neck. The next thing I'm going to do is to slightly curve my collar stand. So from the up, I'm going to come in by half of an inch and replace the half of an inch on the lower part. So half of an inch here and then replace it back on the lower part, and I'll connect this new line to my back neckline width. After that, remember I said we are not taking our button overlap. Now I will take what my button overlap is, and it is 1 inch. I'll take that measurement and place it on the upper part of my collar stand and then extend it into my collar line. From that point, I'll use my curved ruler to create a curve to the lower part of my collar. Now the next thing we are going to do is to create our starting point for the main collar. So from the collar stand, I'll come in by 1 inch and I'll connect that to my neckline point. This would create room for our collar to sit on the neckline. So this is very important. Now from the starting point of the collar, I'll determine the width of my collar. I don't want something too wide, so I did 2 inches. You can actually do more if you're looking for something like wide. This part I'm shading off will be cut out. From my collar standpoint, I will create a straight line down into my paper, and then I'll go ahead to mark my neck width, which is half of my front and half of my back. The both is 8.5 inches. So after marking that, the next thing I'm going to do is to determine how much pointed I want my collar to be. For mine, I added 1.5 inches from my collar line. You can actually do more, but like I said, I didn't want something too big. I just want a beautiful seated collar on my neck. I'll go ahead now and sharpen the lines that would be used for the collar. So every line that I'm going in with my marker to sharpen is what we would use to cut this out. I would label my collar the big collar, and the collar stand I labeled the small collar. The next thing we are going to do is to cut out our pattern. After cutting, this is what I have. And now for my fabric, I already added interfacing to give my collar stability. If you fold your fabric the exact same way I'm folding mine, you would get both your main piece and your lining piece together, which is very much advisable for you to use your fabric to cut out your lining piece and your fabric piece for your collar. I would add seam allowance all around it, excluding the center back, which would be cut on fold. So for my seam allowance, I added half of an inch. If you're someone who likes to work with a lot of seam, please add more. And do not forget to notch all necessary points, because it is very, very important when it's time to join our collar pieces together. So after cutting my collar stand, I'll go ahead and cut my main collar off camera. This is what I have now. Now it's time to start stitching. And to stitch, we'll start with our big collar first. I'll take my main collar, the main fabric and the lining, place it right side facing each other, and making sure that the notched point matches. I will stitch my sides and as well the longest part of my collar. After stitching, I'll top stitch and cut off excess seam allowance, because one thing you need to achieve with your shirt collar is a very relaxed seam. The next thing I'm doing is to take my collar stand and sandwich my main collar between the fabric and the lining of my collar stand. Again, making sure that all seam allowances notches match. It is very, very important. And if your pattern is cut properly, you will not get errors. I'll sew on this upper point, and like I did for the main collar, notch and cut off the excess seam allowance. After doing that, I would open it up, and this is my shirt collar. It's all done now. The next thing I'm going to do is to show you guys how I attach this to my shirt neckline. So this is my shirt neckline, the right side facing up. I will take one part of my shirt or my collar stand and attach it to my shirt neckline. Ensure that your notches match is so important. After attaching, I will take the other part, fold it over, and fold in my half of an inch seam allowance that I added and do a top stitch. I would advise that this particular top stitch starts from the center back. So do from your center back to one part and then from your center back to the other part. That would help reduce any form of smile lines on your shirt collar and give you like a very clean finish. After that, this is my final result. I absolutely love how this came out. If you stick to the end of this video, thank you so much. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share my video so YouTube will make it go viral. I love you. Bye.